After the Bolivian Revolution, immigration in Venezuela skyrocketed. Many Venezuelans abandoned, quit, or straight up left the country, leaving many problems that have yet to be resolved. This is especially true for government programs, where programs from the oil production to the welfare industry have been left in a state of serious neglect. However, since we cannot cover every single issue in this country, I narrowed it down to two industries where I find have space for innovation and improvement. These two areas being the education and tourism industries. The problem with the education industry is a result of government intervention in the education system. The root of the problem can be led to Chavez when he became president. He implemented several welfare policies in the 1999 Constitution, in order to foster equality across the country. But however, in this process, he alienated many of Venezuela's middle and upper classes by changing university curriculums to promote socialist ideologies. According to a Venezuelan cultural ministry, the compulsory book list that was being taught students were designed to help eliminate capitalistic thinking and better understand the ideas and values necessary to build a socialist country. Moving on to tourism in Venezuela, I found that the main problems are lack of infrastructure and high crime and poverty rates. When it comes to tourist destinations in Venezuela, many of the hotels are very old, roads are crumbling, and supplies such as food is available sporadically. Poverty and crime poses a large threat for international travelers, as many governments generally advise against traveling to Venezuela. So, due to these key issues, Venezuela generates roughly 25% of what its neighboring country, Colombia, makes a year from tourism. The solution is to implement a travel policy that contains a long-term strategy that is designed to promote economic and societal development. It grants Venezuelan nationals and those with a bloodline an expedited immigration process, and to have the option to study and visit the country. By innovating on the processes and infrastructures for tourism and education, the travel policy will foster continuous regional development and competitive advantage. Funding for policies would ideally be achieved by a joint investment by the government and direct foreign investment. By granting Venezuelan nationals the ability to travel to Venezuela more efficiently, we are hoping to achieve two major goals in the education and tourism industry. By granting Venezuelan nationals the ability to travel to Venezuela more efficiently, we are hoping to achieve two major goals in the education and tourism industries. In the education industry, we hope to achieve a radical restructuring of the current higher education systems and introduce Venezuelan nationals studying abroad to study there as well. With a highly educated population living across the globe and 14,000 students pursuing higher education, Venezuela has a potential human capital that would improve the country's national engagement and the development of political, civic, and business activities. In the long term, generations of students will have transitioned from the modernized schooling systems to living in Venezuela and will be pursuing careers, whether in the government or private, and this will generate positive regional development across the country. Additionally, this will foster communities of international and local Venezuelans and create new cultural roots. Tourism is greatly underexploited and has the potential to diversify the economy. Ecotourism in big cities like Caracas would receive the most amount of visitors. However, with crime and corruption affecting nearly every horizontal issue and vertical issues, close monitoring and security systems will have to be implemented to ensure the safety and security of visitors and citizens. By allowing a large population of easier entry and departure from Venezuela, would create a large incentive for tourism. Just in the surrounding areas, such as Peru and Colombia, there are 3 million Venezuelans and over 300,000 more in the United States. Venezuelans can use this money to stimulate the local businesses and economy, delivering regional development through tourism and competitive advantage. With desirable locations, tourism would prove to be a valuable addition to the Venezuelan economy with a projection of generating $4 billion US. Tourism would also further develop smaller economies and create strengthened connections throughout the country. Before wrapping up, I wanted to go over some certain risks and limitations that go with this policy in that, first of all, I find that this policy isn't very realistic, as this policy really goes against Venezuela's current regime, and attempting to change a system that is beneath so many levels of corruption makes this policy very difficult to be made a reality. On the other hand, if this policy were hypothetically to be passed, I would say that special attention needs to be made to the existing tourism infrastructure, as it is very dated and will need major investment to make an economic profit.